Your genes aren't shrinking by accident. Forget the scale. You're being targeted. Meet the caloricus. And trust me, it all started so innocently. Back in 1824, calories weren't math. They were bioengineered to measure steam engine efficiency. But let's just say the experiment went south. And by south, I mean directly into your pants. These calories decided they were destined for a much higher calling. But let's take a closer look under the hood. Meet the Caloricus denim chomper, a microscopic, highly intelligent species that treats your wardrobe like a 5-star buffet. They look like the result of a one-night stand between a fluffy moth and a Swiss watchmaker with way too much ego and zero chill. Their most most notable feature is that soft, electric blue glow. Let's switch over to the super macro lens for the gritty details. Each calorie is packing a full tactical gear loadout on its legs. We're talking bespoke sewing kits and microscopic crowbars tucked away in those tiny pockets. And for the special ops units, they've got laser rangefinders. Your genes never stood a chance. Meet Dr. Phil Pancreas, the world's leading authority on calorie ethnology, and a man who definitely doesn't get invited to many dinner parties. He insists we stop calling them parasites. Apparently, they have a PR department now. These guys don't see themselves as pests. No, they're interior designers working on a very specific renovation project. Their entire life's mission, maximizing the thermal insulation layer of their host, because in their world, bulk is the new sleek. To a calorie, a skinny person isn't fit. They're a manufacturing defect that desperately needs some padding. So, where do they come from? They hatch in highly specialized 5-star ecosystems. It's not a jar, it's a 24-hour party in Sin City. That's basically the Bellagio. These guys are living better than you are. And the pizza? That's not dinner. That's a heavy-duty landing craft. A pepperoni pizza is essentially a Trojan horse, and the cargo is definitely not friendly. You're looking at an invasion force of roughly 1.2 million highly motivated sewing units, ready to make your favorite jeans a distant memory. Then there's the craft beer barrel, home to the alcohol anarchists. These guys don't take orders from anyone. Their job, sabotage. They're here to burn down the biological rulebook and start a riot. Before you know it, the liver cells have walked off the job and are halfway through a very loud, very off-key version of I Will Survive. We call the result a beer belly. But the calories, they call it the Executive VIP Lounge. Gary is deep in REM sleep. This is the go signal they've been waiting for. The calorie demolition squads are deploying. Operation Tight Fit is officially underway. The target of the night, the denim. The calories get to work, utilizing high-tensile spider silk to shrink the circumference of these jeans by exactly 0.2 millimeters. Why do they do it, you might ask? The answer is both touching and absolutely savage. They genuinely believe they're protecting Gary from the impending ice age. It's simple math. The more Gary eats, the bigger his security detail grows. In their eyes, every pair of skinny jeans is just a perfectly tailored wetsuit for the apocalypse. Meet Silas Sourstitch, a third-generation tailor who's seen too much. He calls it the shrink age phenomenon. People come in here screaming, "Silas, you ate my pants." But I see them. I see the tiny silver thimbles. Nobody ever believes me. Fabrics don't just shrink because of physics. I mean, come on. On a 30-degree delicate cycle, please, don't you even start with me. Then there's the calorie whisperer, a man who went off the grid to live in a shack and survives strictly on a diet of edible styrofoam. I mean, rice cakes. You have to negotiate with them, he whispers to us. See, eating a rice cake is a direct insult to a calorie's entire aesthetic. To them, a rice cake is a brutalist prison cell. They don't die. They just emigrate in protest. But heads up, They usually just move in with your neighbor, the one who's actually grilling real food. Gary's had enough. He's jogging. He actually thinks he's burning calories. Bless his heart. The truth is much more tragic. Imagine you're just chilling in your living room, and suddenly a magnitude 9 earthquake hits while the ceiling starts melting. That's cardio from a calories perspective. It's not a workout. It's a localized climate catastrophe. What we call sweat is actually the calories' biological escape pods. These little guys hate vibrations. They get terminal seasickness. When Gary runs, it's a total evacuation. They're bailing out through the pores in a blind, blue-tinted panic. They use the liquid as a getaway vehicle, desperate to reach dry land, or at least a less bouncy host, as fast as possible. But since there aren't enough escape pods to go around, 84% of calories opt for what we call the aerobic transfer. So, you don't actually burn calories. You just launch them via airmail to the guy standing next to you at the bus stop. Cardio isn't a weight loss program. It's a high-speed relocation service. By the way, the most dangerous calorie isn't the one you see coming in a double fudge chocolate cake. It's the one that pretends it doesn't even exist. The light calorie. In the world of the caloricus, 0 doesn't mean absent. It means special ops. These units are the result of brutal selection processes in the sugar-free extraction camps of the soda industry. They are rail-thin, nearly invisible, and they come equipped with state-of-the-art tactical cloaking. They know that for them, being spotted is a literal death sentence. If Gary buys broccoli, the caloric equivalent of a tactical nerve agent, it's game over. To prevent that, they deploy their favorite countermeasure, the creeping button tactic. We're witnessing a light-calorie Black Ops mission, highly classified, highly effective. They use laser scalpels to sever the structural threads of a shirt button, but they don't remove it. That would be too obvious. It's precision engineering. They nudge the button just enough to commit the fraud, while making sure Gary's untrained eyes see absolutely nothing. Suddenly, the shirt feels a fraction looser, just enough to spark a dangerous flame called hope. The result the next morning is a psychological masterpiece. Pure, unadulterated deception. He thinks, still got it. But what he doesn't see is that the button is currently holding on by nothing but the pure, unearned loyalty of the fabric. He calls it the placebo fastening. See, the light calories aren't manipulating the clothes. They're manipulating his self-esteem. Gary thinks he's winning the war on fat, while the calories in the background are already marking the next row of buttons for demolition. It's gaslighting on a microscopic level, and it's a trap. The fabric is under enough tension to launch a small satellite. One good belly laugh, and that button becomes a lethal projectile capable of taking out an eye or a Ming vase. But as long as Gary doesn't laugh, the illusion remains perfect. We conclude our investigation with a simple realization. We have to accept the truth. We aren't the masters of our own meat suits. We're glorified janitors for a colony of tasteless, high-fashion insects. The war on calories is a diplomatic stalemate you simply cannot win. Stop fighting. Every now and then, leave them a peace offering. A crumb of brie, perhaps. Show some respect for the craft. And next time your pants feel a little too snug, just remember, it's not weight gain. It's bespoke. It's artisanal. It's love. It's the work ethic of the world's smallest tailors. For once in your life, Gary, show a little gratitude. Oh, by the way, that whole story about calories being a unit for steam engine efficiency? Totally true. Look it up. And that fact about us literally breathing out 84% of our body fat? Also true. Science is weird.